Morning. I will I will start running the simulation of the design to see what I noticed being wrong or what it is not exactly wrong, but can be changed for better. Because sometimes you have a design that it is fine, but things will not work just because you have the wrong items order or the wrong stitch length or slash spacing. My suggestion for this starting object, you started right on the middle and the biggest object. um it is to try to play with more angles and see what angle will give you less stitches, because you have an hyper organic object here. And what happens is that when uh the the software is tracing for doing the underlay and the fill itself, what the software will do these weird connections stitches that serves basically to make sure that it will go on little parts, little tips like this one. Sorry if my English is kind of rusty. It is still morning. Um, and the major problem for having a super organic shape is that you have a lot of this, and this add stitch count, this add to the weight of the overall design, and end up adding too much stitches on these tips, which make the tips lose definition. What you can be doing in situations like this is to do an overall shape of your design. So you would be doing like this leaf without the pointy tips, and after with your outline on other color, you would be doing these tips. And because these tips would be kind of a solid color, it would look like that the original shape is this shape too, but you are actually lying. But I always try to do this because I know that some designs I can remove details of the image because it will not embroidery well. And when you think about the embroidery process, not seeing the thing as an image but seeing as an embroidery piece, uh the outline will go on top of the fill. So if you can hide things, if things will be hidden, it is just better to omit them because you have less stitches, you have the design running better and faster. And for personal objects, personal designs, something being slow or a little on the heavy side, it is not too relevant. But when you are doing something for a client, this becomes super relevant. For a single piece, not that much, because this one-time fee, as a way of saying. But when you are doing like 100 pieces of something, you need to try to make the cheapest possible while not hurting the visuals. I had this makeup company making a lot of uniforms with me, and they say to me that they want the embroidery to be really cheap. So what I did is I took advantage on the fact that their logo was kind of neon like, and I made with run stitches using neon threads. Turned out super good in photos because it's a black shirt with pink and blue neon threads. In photos, the camera sensor literally bugs out and the thing glows. Uh, and each design was like 3 4 bucks. Literally the most expensive part of the embroidery process was hooping. So uh, it is always nice to try to make the cheapest, but not the in a bad way, cheap in optimized way. Good designs, well optimized designs are cheaper. Maybe they are not be the cheapest to digitize. Saying this as a digitizer, I have some designs that I know that I can be making in 1 2 hours, but I took 6 6 7, and this is way more time for sure. But the difference that you have on the final embroidery pieces is massive. A lot of designs that I do, uh, after the first test, usually I am just adjusting pull compensation or and some dense tissues, because I like to go overboard with details, and sometimes I go way overboard with details. Um, ah, let's keep it going. So what the machine will do here is to feel every tip before doing this fill, to keep doing the fill non-stop. But the problem that you can have with this, and we all already had this problem, is like when you see these lines here, this is when the item has been split for feeling a little tip and going back. And if you end up not hooping properly, not having the right stabilizer for the design itself, or the right needle, what you can happen is literally a line that looks like that you just removed a column of thread off there, and usually it is very noticeable and don't look the best thing. Like for this item, I think I would flip the angle, just because this part. What you happen here is that you will do a lot of super small stitches on this part, but on this entire line here. But if you flip to here, you will just have here. So it is better to mitigate having a lot of stitches on the same place. And about the place that it finishes, it is kind of random. It is nice to, for organic objects, it's complicated. But if your item does not have other item that will be jumping into it, it is better to try to finish on borders, making it like go this way or that way. Because if the design go from whoops, if the design goes from here to here feeling, then goes to here to as a connection stage and go back here, you can have this gap, and usually you will leave a tie on the middle of the object. Does not look the best thing. The legs are fine. With the bong is the same thing. You could be making the angle this way to avoid small stitches. About this overlap, I tend to not do overlaps because the stitches underneath show. Um, but for this, you have to be sure of what your design will be doing and what the setup is, because I had some instances that I had a client very angry with me because the design was not stitching properly, and I stitched the same design on my machine, on my setup, and everything was perfectly on place. um, mm, if you have a good digitizer, major part of your problems will be related to hooping. The stabilizer that you're using, uh, the how tight or how loose did you leave it, the stabilizer and the fabric, especially when double layering, because you will have now 3 layers of fabric to make for it. And what happens a lot is literally one sheet of these 3 layers is a little loose, and this can hurt the design. The flattest without being stretched will be the by far the best setup you will have on the hoop. But on top of this, you have your tensions. If your tensions are too high, you will be making the pull wing stronger. Um, if your tensions are too loose, you will be end up having problems with looping, bird nesting, especially if the design has small details. Very low tensions will make sure to show where the design is dense, not because the design is bad, just because you will lose stabilization because you are basically making holes on the same place, but the stabilizer is there to play against this. But when you basically have slots to put your thread in and you hit the same slot two, three, 5 times, you will have bird nest because it starts to lose the foundation basically. So it's sinking. On designs that you have outlines, what you can do is connect the items on the border to avoid having a jump connection, or a trim that will make the design uh, uncomfortable on the backside. And but this is valid when your outline is on the thicker side and things need to be on place because we'll show it if not. I'm so sleepy, Jesus. Like you have these black items here. I know that you did them after the bong and the hand to make sure that things are on place. Uh, this is would be like a precision design. It has more trims, it has more jumps, but for a personal project, please go for the precision route because everything will be super on place. But for clients, um, go for the color optimization path because they will complain about the extra jumps. I guarantee you that. So personally, this is my style of digitizing. I am not trying to impose anything. I would not be doing overlaps, and I would be doing the legs together with the tips. This would avoid an extra color change. And for multi needles, this is not too much relevant because they will be changing colors in 5 to 10 seconds. This can build up a lot. Like you have 80 trims here. If you are taking 10 seconds for each of them, you have. Oh, I forgot the math. I'm bad at math. But you have 800 seconds. So, oh, I had to divide. You have 13 minutes just of jumps and trims. And this will build up. If you have 10 trims, this is not a lot, but can build up pretty fast. Oh yeah, and for domestic machines, this is pure hell because you have to manually change objects. And on my average, I take around 25 seconds to change a thread. This is removing up here. This is literally removing the thread of the machine, rolling up the loose one, putting on the table, picking up the new one, passing on the machine, and starting. Uh, and I am pretty fast. I can thread in 10 seconds, but I don't like to work like a desperate factory worker, so I do things calmly to not stress myself. But these 80 times, you would have literally 30 minutes just of color changing. So stacks. This item, you could have done it like just one item. They are on the same angle, so you could weld them to avoid an extra trim here. Um, Here you made the green of the eyes that is the same of the background. Just get rid of this because it is the same color of the background and the same stitch type. Unless you want a specific effect on the eye, you could have made this with, let me pick a better color to show. You could have made this with satin stitches or with run stitches. Um, this way you're just adding thickness to the overall design and will not help you a lot. Here you could um, take the opportunity to cut the item to remove some stitches. Um, Sometimes this will add extra stitches, and sometimes will remove it stitches. You have to test with it, but even having extra stitches is just because the border stitches, and you would not be stacking up um, stitches, which again will make your design look lighter. Um, just just the mouth I would not be cutting because you were just making a hole, and just a hole in the middle of a fill will add a lot of extra stitches and will be hurting because the borders here will try to sink. But because you are going to a open border, this tend to happen less. Here with the hand and the smoke, you could have welded the items together and be just one item. The shoes, you did like one item. Here you could have made a hole on the item to avoid extra stitches, and maybe here too. So you would split this object because they would not be touching a lot here, but you would have a lot of stitches removed from here. I think this is, you would have around 250 stitches removed. So yeah, it is pretty relevant. Now the outline. Rule for the outline is so you to try to, this jump was unnecessary. You could, but I think the lines will be touching here, so yeah. uh it is nice to do the outline going from the older to the newest objects, because the the older objects will distort more. Here you, I think you have gone, let me count, one, two, three, four, three, two, five, six. You have gone with 6 rows of thread here. This is a outline itself. The setching will be making this just way thicker than it should. With the pathing with of the outline, you need to be light, because we'll be we'll be trying to sink a lot when you make it heavy, and it is nice to avoid this more times. Even like this top part is dense on the software, does not look, because it will just stack on top of each other perfectly, but embroidery, I'm pretty sure that this is looking very heavy, and the sound that the machine is making is horrible. One good thing to do is to try to make the outline in sections. This will do two things. You will be making the outline faster, and you will avoid extra stitches, because let's say you do just the smoke, then you go to here, then you do the leaf. What this will make is helping your design being lighter, helping you work faster, and will end up looking good too, because you'll have less bunching of stitches. Here you could have made this all like together to avoid this extra jump. Sometimes with outlines, we try to avoid overlapping things on the wrong way, but this is just because on the screen looks super on your face, but embroidery, it it is almost non-visible. You literally have to see very up close to you to see that it is overlapping on the wrong way. So don't be fearful of having wrong overlaps, because it is almost 100% guarantee that it will not show a lot. It will only show a lot if it is um a very a big a big column. Usually, where I take most of my time on designs that have outline, it is literally on the outline, because it is a pain to order to path properly, but the final result will be super good. And yeah, this little jump here you could have avoided. I think these two outlines would be touching each other. I was thinking. You have been so careful to not overlap things, and you overlap here. I think way too much. You could have made this black line together with the handout line, same as here. Okay, it finished. The major problem with your design is just order of things. Simple as that. There is nothing that you are doing wrong with the design itself. It's just the order of the items. Um, what I told you before is to try to go a little lighter on the fills. So I will be giving some touches to the design and sending to you. I will try to do quickly. I will not be talking a lot because I just cannot function properly while doing this stuff. My multitasking skills is just awful. So you have 60k stitches just by increasing the length of your stitches from 4 to 5 millimeters. This is still with zero point 0.4 of spacing. This will do nothing visually to your design. Actually will make the colors look even more solid, because let me pick a photo to show to you. Where is it? Okay. What this will make is avoid this. Like you have your default point for spacing, it is the column of each thread, and 3 millimeters stitch length. So looks like it is more dark than the normal. And the more we'll go up, look only the point four. The more, whoops, the more we'll go up, you will notice that it is start looking lighter, start to look like it have less black spots, and this is because the thread shredded. And obviously with super big length start to look like setting, but up to 6 millimeters looks super fine and super okay to embroidery. I personally would be using more if my machine did long stitches properly, but my machine have something against long stitches. But yeah, okay, you have four, you have six, 1K, just going to five, you have 57K. Now increasing the spacing to zero point 0.5, that it is not relevant to the overall design. Like the difference of zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.5, it is not big. Yes, we'll show a little thread underneath, but you will not be seeing things this way. Realistic speaking, you will be seeing way far than this. So in places that you can be lighter, it is nice to try to be lighter. So going from zero point 0.4 to zero point 0.5, you have 53K stitches. So almost 10K less. Other thing that I like to do is to mess with connectors. So this is your tie-ins and your tie-offs. When you enter an object, the machine will punch some stitches on the same place to tie in the object. When you leave the object, your machine will punch some stitches on the same place to tie off the object. This is to avoid unraveling, and it is something very useful. So, but in some places you can just straight up remove it. Like this entire leaf have an outline, so you could literally use the entire outline as an tie off. So this, the eyes, the smoke, the bong, the shoes, everything that has an outline, you can literally go here on after object and look at the stitch count. 53, 969. Just by removing tie-ins and tie-offs, we remove like 150 stitches. It is it is it, it is not a lot, but what you gain with this, it is less 150 unnecessary extra stitches that will be on the back side of your design poking you. My cat fell sleeping. So when you can just straight up remove ties, remove them. So let me change some things. I will make a hole here. Let me try to keep saying what I am doing. So I am selecting the object, duplicating with Control D. It has appear down here. Selecting the object that I want to make a hole or remove this overlap, and using the back front tool. What this will do is use the top object to make a hole on the bottom object, and will straight up delete the top object. This is why I duplicate them. And you will be doing edge. Let me. You will be doing edge to edge items this way, and people say to not match edges, and this is right, but with a caveat, because usually people have gaps. So when your pull compensation is trying to go a little over your edge to avoid collapsing in, what happened is you have two opposite stitches pulling on the same. But this is this changes when you have things very close, because the borders will hold together. And when I noticed this, I was pretty happy, because I don't like to do overlaps. So I will be removing every overlap of the design, doing this, selecting the one that I will be using as a cookie cutter, duplicating, selecting the bottom one, doing the whole. Now you have made extra items. And so we remove the stitches that was here. This, it is pretty much covered. So what you can do here is doing an extra object and doing the cookie cutter thing. Now you have separate objects, or you can be selecting it and using the knife tool. But what the knife tool does is cut the object. The extra object will be here on the middle. You can just delete it. It is the same thing but extra step. But the knife changes your object type. So you have to select and press F3 to reset it, because will behave weirdly after you use your knife. Um, Here you can be making a hole too, because it is basically separate. So you have less bunching, less extra stitches, and you can split items apart. Sometimes this is good, sometimes don't. But for fills, if it is not exactly touching, it is nice to try to have less stitches. Um, same as here. You It will be separating this part from this part. And what this will do is to avoid the that weird connection stitches, because you would be doing only one section to go from other. So you can be optimizing the design this way. So now we have to separate the objects here. Let's make here literally just avoiding overlaps in general. Uh, this will for sure be a problem if things are not hooped properly because we'll show gaps. But what you earn with this is color optimization. So these two Y's can be together. So extrapolate the when the items are edge to edge. Extrapolate the size on purpose. Select the two of them and use the weld tool. These tools are under transform toolbox. Let me here transform. So select them, click in one weld, press H to see how the stitches are looking. And let's remove this green fills. Just let me put this where would be going. Whoops. These ones too. Okay. Literally the same thing as before. Uh but with less stitches. And will look more flush too, which is a bonus. Um let's make a hole to the mouth too. Let me see. Okay, this is on top of this, and whoops, and this. Let's make a hole on this one, like I said before. And what will happen sometimes is you will earn a very narrow part. And this too, this is why I said about selecting and press H, because sometimes there there is some loose nodes and it is nice to delete them. So what I will do here is use the knife tool to cut these weird sections that will be covered later. Then you delete the unnecessary ones, select them, and press F3 to change the item type back to the normal, to what you would like. These two items could be one. After welding, select them and press H2 just to check about the shape in general. We can make the three of them together and we'll look literally the same thing. Um okay. Okay. Now I will color. Oh, you have used it branch on the entire thing. This is what I was saying about trying to do things in section. I love branching because makes you use a lot less time to do things, but the problem with branching is literally what you saw on the stop section. We'll go over the same placing a lot of times because if I am sounding like I have a little lisp, it is because I have brackets on the top of my mouth, and it is making hard to speak properly, and it is hurting my tongue so much. Uh, Branch tries to find the shortest path to the next item. But when you have only one path, becomes overlap fast because, to be honest, the brainsync tool is dumb as heck. It will not be like, yeah, let's do this and go for the next. It is like, yeah, let's do this. Now we go to the bottom. Now we go to the middle. Now we go back to the start just to just finish up a little section of the setting there. So when you branch things, branching sections, that Tanjiro design that I did, it has a ton of run stitches. And what I made is basically doing the outlining sections um to avoid these extra stitches. So first I do the face details, then I do the head outline, then I go to the arm, to the chest, to the other arm, and to the rest of the design. This way you avoid the extra pathing that the branching does, and will help a lot in making the outline lighter. So just let me undo the here. I sectioned in 4 items. It has 2003 4. It has 4,000 stitches. The entire design 10k stitches. If I break them apart, Control K, select all of them again, and weld them together, I have less stitches. I hate this, bruh. But what do I say now? I hate when Wilcon does this. But I am pretty sure that there is sections that the thread is going over it a ton of times. I think I should have said that sometimes the branching tool does miracles and sometimes don't. I think this is a major example of it, but past 3 times here. But yeah, the design is more optimized now, doing the lazy way. So okay, I take but let me put to start where it should be starting, and finishing on a border. This is here, so would be finishing here. Okay, 10k stitches. What happens with the branching? Branching likes a lot to finish and start on the same place, because with this usually, like, you have your start point here and your finish point here, but you have this to make. What usually the branch will do is leave from here, go to the end, and do this. And I like that this is a thing that you can be reproducing. Like, if I go here and do a ton of items, let me flip them and branch them together. I will put my start and end points on the same place. I have 1,300 stitches. If I put my start point here and my end point here, I have 1,380 stitches. Like, I have, this is simple. This is why it is not a lot of different, but this is because the pathing becomes weird when you have two different points. So when using branching, if you can start and finish on the same place, will be better. But yeah, thanks for. I am so baffled by. I was like, yeah, let me show how this works, because yeah, I took a slap on the face right there. Okay, so let's bleach. No, let me reorder things. So now you don't have a big central object, but you want to do these ones. So what you will be doing is first this, because you have to do them. This one, the middle one, and the edge. So let's optimize the colors. You have a lot of black tails. Let's leave these to do together on the finish. Let's do the bong and the eyes together. They are the same color. Um, let's do the every white parts together too. So let's start with the smoke hand, this glow other hand that we will not weld, because we'll generate extra stitches, but we will cookie cutter, just to not have extra stitches on a border. So this. Oh yeah, you can select and press tab to go down on the on the eating list. Very useful. This, no, this and this. Okay. Black will go together later. This needs to be before the white. The shoes goes after the white. More white here. Let me put up there. I forgot about it. So after 15, we will have 17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Let me see. Okay. Now there is only black left. So let's do all black together. When I have designs like this, usually I like to do the what is on the inside first, but because it is on the heavy side, I think it is better to do the outline first because there is a lot of chance of distortion. So let's do the outline in sections. Let's split this. So select all of those. You can branch objects that are not touching. So we will be starting here and finishing here. Let me see one thing. Let's finish here. So we branch these, start, finish. Then we go. Let's do the hand. We go to here. It will be starting here. We will finish here and use a run stitch to go to the next. So let me start to order things. So this will be the first. Second one, 27, 28. This will be after 28. No. Actually, let's do this. This middle section, branch, start and finish on the same place. Again with the run stitch to here. So this is 29. So sequence after 29. So 29, 30, 31. Now 32 don't need to be branched.
Amor,
Mm.
may video pra você lá em cima ver a Bela.
So let's go. Let's try to leave everything on just one run without unnecessary gems. So what we can do here is to expand this on purpose and have a little overlap. And from here, we will go down. So let's do the shoe. Let's select the entire shoe. Oh, okay. It is already branched. Let's branch it. Um, where is it? I'll remove the run stitch that I did. So we start here. So 32, 33, 34, 35, 6, 7, go here, 7, 38, 39. This is the boring part. Next one. 6, 37, 38, 39, 41. No, let's go. Okay, let's go from here to here. We will do this side first. Then we do this. Let's go up. 41, 42. Dun, dun. Now we do this top section. Let's branch together with these ones. And we did almost, well, we did the first full circle around the design. And now we will do the loose bits. Oof. 52. Okay. Ring 34. No, not this one together. Okay. Let's see. This. Oh, I not branched this one with the hand. I forgot. Let me break it. Select the items again. And this one. Branch it. What will this will happen a lot, like you will notice that you forgot that very little detail behind. like I forgot here, but not a major problem. So let's, whoops, arrange these ones. Okay. So after doing this, let's do the loose bits. So after 45, 46, 47, 48, 9, 10, this middle section,
No, po, there.
42, 43, let's do 4 and 5, then 6. I would be jumping, doing a run stitch, and doing this bow first.
Amor, ali do lado.
Let's do this before. Oh, no, this one, this, fill, fill, and finish with this. So let's no without using the closest joint. We have less stops and less strings already. So now pressing J to use the closest joint, we will remove a lot of extra jumps. So now we have 49k stitches. The design will be running better this way. Oh yeah, one more thing to remove more stitches. Let's select all the fields. We have not changed the 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 underlay settings. This is something very important to be doing because you do not put too much faith on the fact that the underlay can have an weight, but let's wait, tatami. It needs to be zigzag. Everything is tatami. Okay. So select the tatami, and from these settings, you will need, let me, oh, I remember. You will need, no. Let me take the opportunity to do this. Tatami. So our settings will be 2.5, 4.5. Let's select all tatami again. Whoops. major part of these items, I would be connecting them with a run stitch to avoid even more extra jumps. So let's do the tatami with 2.5 and 4.5 of length. And for these outlines, you can remove the underlay of them because they are already on an edge, and because the way the connections work, I am pretty sure that major part of them will have an outline, or not an outline, an underlay by default, just because the connection stitches. So let's remove. We have way more less stitches now. So let's see how the design it is running now. I have not changed angles because it will take more time. It is been already an hour. This need to be on this angle. What what you need to do on this design is to have more different angles. The photo that you sent have major border issues on this part and this part. This is literally because the threads are pulling in on this angle. So this is the angle that things will collapse in. I would be leaving this object and connecting them with a run stitch to avoid the extra jumps. This design can have way less jumps than already is. I think it is possible to go down to 10, 15. This is why I say about removing the underlay, because the branching already will be doing this. It just does not have here. But now the design will be running way smoothly just because this path. When you see opportunities of connecting things with a run stage to avoid a jump, do. Will help a lot. Down flock.
Já não tô querendo trabalhar muito hoje, vou me demitir, não.
Aconteceu algo, amor?
Não, só tô desanimada.
Descansa hoje pra vagabundear e pega firme outro dia.
Não.
Eu falo isso porque você se afeta muito com. Seu desenho afeta muito com o seu humor.
Sim, isso que eu tô fazendo. Mas agora acordou? Eu tô com dor no ombro e incomoda um pouco.
Você tem que tentar dormir de um jeito diferente. Esses dias eu dormi que nem você, eu acordei como fuzilado. Você deita, você amassa seu ombro. Surfer speaking tongues.
Você quer chamar?
Não, eu tô gravando um vídeo, mas eu não vou cortar, não.
Nossa, que hora.
Uhum. You could mitigate these jumps, maybe doing this entire part together because would have just a little jump here. Uh, just try to be mindful and creative about ways that you can be doing the outline pathing because you will find very good ways of doing it and avoiding jumps. Your major worry is how can I avoid extra unnecessary jumps. And yeah, I will be sending you the design and the video too. Almost 1 hour and a half, and I was thinking that would be taking only 10 minutes. Oh yeah, me explaining things only 10 minutes. So, like Ken likes to say, happy digitizing.